Well, y'all, I think she did it. Let's go and see what happened. Up above me, and I've a good place to sleep. There's food on my table, shoes on my feet. So y'all, first things first, let's look at the potager, how good it's coming along. You can see in this area right here, that's corn coming up. Now, yeah, I do have to go and weed until the green beans get up. So there are green beans planted between corn in there. So we're doing some companion planting, and once they get up, you see I've got mulch. I'm gonna be mulching around everything. I'm gonna go ahead and mulch around the herbs today. But look at this, y'all. How neat is that? How neat is that? So I'm gonna have some features in here along the way. I've got a rose over there at the end of that one. There's gonna be an arch here with a climbing rose on it. That is white. It's Duché, I believe, is the name of it. But look at that. How good is this potager garden gonna look once I get all the features in here? Now, I do have some stuff planted already next to the drip line, or the drip tape in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and be laying between the rows in here, and these are pink eye purple whole peas, and once they get up, I can mulch around them also, and get the weeds out first and then mulch. Over there, look how beautiful the zinnias are, the dahlias, and I've got celosia. I don't think it's quite ready to go into the ground yet. I think I'm gonna wait till maybe the middle of the week to start putting celosia out. But it's slow growing, and well, it's coming along, but it's slower than the zinnias. The zinnias just got really tall really fast. So the celosia will go over there in that corner. Zinnias and dahlias over here. And I've got more to put out. So hopefully I will get that done. So y'all, what I have here is these little black posts here. They're like $2.50 each. And they've got these little areas on the side here where you can put electric fence in them. So what I plan to do is there will be 2 on each end of the rows of flowers. I'm going to basically run baling twine around and make a corral for the zinnias and the celosia. So the cut flowers will just be amazing. Now I do have to put some more slug and snail bait down because I don't want them eating the little seedlings. They can wreak havoc on it. And so I'll do that today also. But I got to figure out something for bunny rabbits to keep them out of here. I do have this electric fence that's temporary to keep the deer out, but it won't keep the bunnies out. And you know, I have that sign over there in the lazy garden that says, plant a garden, feed a rabbit. And that's basically what you're doing. But hopefully I can do something to deter the bunny rabbits from coming in here and eating all of my little seedlings. So next step is today I'm laying more of the ground cover on the other side that I have planted. And I am going to be filling the green stalk today. And I will show y'all that when I get that done. There'll be another update this week some point. But that's how the potager garden is going. Y'all look at this. Now y'all ignore all the parts and pieces that I've got on the ground because I'm still working out here and it's a mess right now. But y'all look at this. How sweet is this going to be when I have the archway here with the Duché rose, which is a white rose, climbing on it. And I think that's the name of the rose that I have for this, Duché, if I'm not mistaken. And you can see I've got my yellow rose right over there. Y'all, this is gonna be so pretty. Right outside the house, I can come out here and harvest my herbs. Look at the herbs. Y'all, just look at the herbs and the corn, the flowers. Working on this side today. Okay, y'all, Daisy did it. Let me introduce you to the two little boys, Phineas and Ferb. Now, I named these after cartoon characters that my daughter used to watch when she was a little girl. And it's really noisy in here right now. But these are Daisy's two boys, Phineas and Ferb. Now, Phineas is really, really big, and Ferb is really, really small, okay? There's a story about Phineas, but first of all, let me do something else. On the cartoon, Phineas and Ferb had a sister, so meet Candace, Daisy's third baby. This is little Candace. So Daisy ultimately had two boys and one girl. The two boys look like Daisy, and the girl looks like Hut Hut. You look like your daddy. Yes, you do. You look just like your daddy. Aren't they the sweetest? Now, I'm not showing Daisy because Daisy's not doing real well. So right now, I have dosed her up with some vitamin B12 and some electrolytes, and trying to feed her some high protein grain. And I let her out a little bit ago, and she's out there bleating for her babies right now, to try to let her build up some milk for a minute. Now, I wanted her to eat some grass to get some good sugars in her system. I have been treating her and giving her some molasses. The babies are doing extremely well, but I am supplementing their milk with a little bit of a bottle in between Daisy's feedings. I want them to eat from their mama. So I did supplement the colostrum also, because Daisy is, she's in a weaker state and she's not producing enough milk right now. She is getting better, but until Daisy starts producing a lot better, I'm going to supplement their feedings just to make sure that the babies do very well. So I'm out here at the barn multiple times a day. I went away yesterday to a little vendor event I did for a friend, and while I was away, my daughter took care of the babies during the day and supplemental fed. But they are doing wonderful this morning. They've actually gained a little bit of weight. So that's a very good thing. They're playing and running and jumping today. So that's something that I had really wanted to see. So let me tell you the story about little Phineas. So the day that Daisy had the babies was Wednesday. And this past Wednesday, which about 4 days ago now. Today is Sunday. So I knew that she was not quite acting herself, and she went into the stall by herself and went to the corner. So I knew it was close. So I went on back into the house and done a few things and brought some treats out here to give to her. And when I got out here, there were 3 babies laying on the ground. But Phineas was still in the bag, and Phineas wasn't breathing. And he had been in the bag for a little while because the other 2 were licked clean, and Daisy had already moved to the other side of the stall, and there was Phineas just laying there in the bag, and it was just kind of wrapped around him, covered in straw. So I jumped into gear and got the bag off, cleaned him off, started scooping out his mouth and nose, and he still wasn't breathing. So I took the baby and held him real good and shook him upside down for a second and patted his lungs and cleaned him out again when the goop started stringing down, and then he took a huge breath. And so he still had like a really long umbilical cord, so I just kind of tied that off and cut it and put him in front of Daisy ultimately and let her clean him up. And then she just really took him, and it was probably a good couple of hours before Phineas really stood up. And I held him under her and let him drink some colostrum, which she didn't mind at that time. She was really good. It was, you know, a day later when Daisy really did not bounce back is when I had to kick into gear with Daisy. So, new plan, you know, anytime a baby's born here, Mama's gonna get some B12 and electrolytes right away. I did drench Daisy the day she had a baby with some electrolytes, but I didn't really give her the B12 that day, but the next day she did start on the B12. That was on Wednesday, and we still had little April to go. Now, April is a tiny little goat, and I really worried about her because she was so small and so big in the belly area. I really felt like that she was going to have trouble having her baby. And she had not really, she was forming a milk bag, but she really didn't have one that was just really huge. So I really thought that April had a little more time. So Friday morning, I brought a load of feed into the feed stall next door, put the feed in there, fed everybody, and I noticed that April did not come up for feed. So I got on the side-by-side and rode through the pasture, and there was April laying beside the storm shelter, and she looked like she was simply sunning. Well, then I saw her start to push. I got off the side-by-side, and I noticed that, yeah, the baby was coming, but she was having a hard time. So I got her into the stall here, and when I got her into the stall, she calmed right down, and she began to push, and she pushed harder, and out popped a little girl. And April had a baby, and so I was really worried because she didn't have a big milk bag, and I thought, how's she gonna feed this baby? Well, the milk bag exploded then. It came on down, and she immediately took care of that baby so good that it was just amazing. So I'm going to show you some of April's baby. And Tony wanted to name the baby, so her name is Miss Inez. Miss Inez is the size of the 2-week-old babies. Do you notice how big Inez is? It is truly amazing how big that baby is and how small her mama is. And she loves her mama so much. She just climbs all over her mama and gets on her back, and she loves her mama. That is a huge baby right there. I cannot believe that April was able to do that. And April has really shined because April was just really a baby herself. She's like a year old. And I look at that sweetness. Did y'all notice that Inez has floppy ears? And April's gonna check on her. Inez, if you were a big goat, you would eat me for this, wouldn't you? So y'all, things are starting to improve on G&G Farms, and hopefully Daisy will bounce back really fast. So I'm, pouring protein to her and trying to get her to eat a little more than she's eating, but it's just going to take time for her to bounce back. I mean, she had 3 kids and they just started pulling her down immediately. So that's why we chose to go ahead and supplement. Now, I could have just took one of them and be hopeful that she could raise 2 of them by herself, but I just decided that she needs all 3 of her kids, and I just supplement them all until she can produce enough milk to feed them all. So that was just the best option for me at the time, because I really think that Daisy loves all of her children. Who would not? And we'll see how that goes. But in the meantime, y'all, I just wanted to give y'all an update on Daisy and April. April was a surprise. But in the meantime, y'all farm on.